that's new. Not noticed that. What's that? Goal. What's a goal? Okay. Start a goal. Oh, 10 super chat. I don't need a goal. All right. Already got one like. Hey, Martin Murray, what's going on? Martian Murray, sorry. Murray, what's going on? 6'9". Yeah, people, see, I'm not sure if people are thinking I'm late, but here it's 9 o'clock. we moved our clocks back an hour on Sunday morning early, which is nice to get that extra hour of sleep. Because Sunday technically is the only day I have to get up early. Sometimes I get up early, but earlier, but. All right. Hey, what's going on, Mamba? There's Bruce. Yeah, I'm early, Bruce. I mean, technically I'm 2 hours late, but earlier than normal. Don't really have a plan for today. Kind of got, once I get a few people here, I'll tell what happened with last week's stream. And it's totally fine. Nothing bad, but because I was doing a Pink Floyd thing, of course they did a shared copyright, which, you know, I could have left it. But what they did was they put an ad in every 5 minutes. And on that video, I lost 2 subscribers. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to lose subscribers on live stream. I mean, I get it. If you subscribe to me and you turn on notifications, and then you get every Monday, you get a notification, you might get mad about it. But hey, Sam, what's going on? But I thought I'd take questions about technique or songs or business or whatever. At some point, we can get started with that if anybody's got any questions. I know you said, Bruce, nobody had anything up on Discord. And, you know, I can riff for 3 hours, no problem. So, but I figured if there's anything you're struggling with, maybe I can help. Want to talk stocks? We can talk stocks. Alex and I spoke at a thing about fathers and sons in the business, and not spoke. We were interviewed on this forum, and I had mentioned about saving money and investing and buying a house and all that, and they were like, "Hey, can you give us some investment tips?" So I shared my thoughts. And then Bruce, if I miss a question, let me know. Bruce, did you move your clocks back too, or did it just everything else change around you? No, you moved your clocks. You're in Southern Florida. The Panhandle might be a little bit weird. They might have a different. I think they are in a different time zone. And I used to think you were in the Panhandle, but now I know where you are. So, hey, John, what's going on? Do you have any questions, John? Try to learn some bluegrass reels and memorize them. Yeah, I think you're right, Martian. Pensacola is in Central. I grew up in Central, but in Indiana, I told this story before. When I grew up, we didn't change our clocks. So, in the winter, prime time was 8 to 11. And, so primetime TV shows started at 8 and ended at 11. News was at 11. In the summer, it was 7 to 10. So, more than you have time to address in 2 hours. Well, I can go to 2.5 hours to 3 hours. I know you're busier than I am, though, John. So I know you're just watching me between between patients. John's a dentist. I did have some work done. I had a little bit of a spot here he grinded down and filled. That was a little soft patch. I was amazed because it was right up against my gum, and I'm like, how did you do that without nicking my gum? But he didn't have a problem. Yeah, Pensacola is way to the west of you. So much so it's in a different time zone. Well, and also what's funny is the time zones can be pretty big. Like when we were in the Eastern time zone, and when Indiana, in Indianapolis, Eastern time zone, the sun was the sun setting was pretty late. When you're at the very end of your time zone, compared to like New York, the sun would set at 5 o'clock, and in Indianapolis it set at 6 o'clock or something like that. Even though you were in the same time zone. So there were advantages to being really far west in a time zone, but then the sun would be dark in the morning. I remember walking to the school bus to the bus stop, and it would be completely dark, and it's probably 7 o'clock. Morning. What's going on, Brian? By the way, it's hard to get a license to practice dentistry in California. Is it? Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Well, it's not. I mean, we have insurance, so as far as I know, the work I had done, I don't have to pay anything for. But I haven't gotten a bill. Even when we didn't have dental insurance, I still went to the dentist twice a year. I was pretty religious about it. Wind and rain in Washington. Oh, nice. Yeah, we have a lot of wind right now, too. Josh, my friend, producer for Justin Bieber, and many, many other things. Mixer, engineer, mixing engineer mostly. He's done a lot of records. He gave me, for our housewarming gift, he gave us some really, really nice wind chimes. And they're on our back patio, and they're kind of kicking up a storm. But they're really soft and low. They're like big. It's really nice ones. Not like the tinkly ones and annoying. And they're pretty mellow. And I've not heard them in here in my studio recording, but I can always take them down. So it's not a problem. It's just they're just hanging there. But your mom is from New Hampshire, and a place on Lake Sunapee. Soon to be. I used to pee in a lake. I had a girlfriend that called peeing in the ocean the ultimate solution. I thought that was clever. Yeah, it's the ultimate solution. Double entendre. Well, not double entendre in the sexual sense. Does double entendre also mean just two meanings, or does it only double entendre reference like one meaning and then a sexual meaning? Because I don't think of peeing in the ocean as sexual. But it is a solution. Hey, Brooke, what's going on? Good to see you. The ultimate solution. Yeah, that girlfriend's, her name was Ozma, as in Princess Ozma. So any questions? I'm just happy to take questions, or we're not going to talk politics. I will say one thing, though. It matters far more how you treat your spouse, your kids, your parents, your neighbors, your friends, and that has a far greater effect on your life than who the heck is in the White House. We can survive anything, and have for millennia. So be good to those around you. be amazing how good your life is. So it's interesting. Like during the to see the housing collapse in 2008, we were still living in an apartment. My career actually did really well, to the point where I really didn't talk about it to my friends because so many of my friends were hurting and they were potentially losing their homes. I'm trying to think if anybody actually lost their home. Mostly what happened is people got hundreds of thousands, in California, keep in mind. People got hundreds of thousands of dollars forgiven, which kind of bummed me and Beth out because here we are trying to save for a house. And our friends who had houses and went kind of crazy buying other properties or buying houses they couldn't afford. They got so much of the house, the debt forgiven, that and it's fine. I mean, they got to stay in their homes, but it was like, wow, can we get some of that? Can we buy something and get it forgiven? It's kind of like paying off student loans. It's like, wait, I worked like 3 jobs to get my kids through college without having any debt. I probably took 5 years off the end of my life. So how do I get that money back? It's like, dang it. Well, and that was part of the problem. We were saving for a house. I talked about this weekend. We were saving for a house, so we had a lot of savings, right? I had IRAs, Roth IRA and a SEP IRA, and Beth had one, and that money doesn't count when you have kids in college. But I also can't access that money to buy a house or put a down payment down. So we had another account that I was investing, and it was doing okay, doing good. I wasn't getting too risky, mostly blue chip stuff. There are stocks I completely lost all my money on, which bums me out. But we couldn't get Pell Grants or any discounts on tuition. We had to pay full tuition because we had savings. They go, well, just pay for college out of that. And so if we'd had debt, if we'd had a big mortgage debt, they would have probably, we would have gotten those Pell Grants or whatever. So, okay, so John's asking, perhaps open-ended question, any tips for staying motivated to keep practicing, especially after a long day at work? Yeah, how to decide what to practice since there's so much to learn. Yeah, you're right. I'm an avid learner. Okay, Brian, I haven't seen any videos using the one shape E to play a song. Is that too simple? Like E to play a song? I actually toyed with doing some video on 1-chord songs because I have the 2 songs with 2 chords. Some of you may have found my channel through that video because it's literally my second or third most popular video. But getting to the motivation and so I feel like, John, the better you are at something, the more fun it is, right? And dude, you work hard. I have a couple friends that are dentists. I know how hard you work. I know how sore your shoulders are from leaning over and doing that work. You really have to, you probably have a chiropractor. You probably get massages all the time. It's one of those things where you really, it's a hard job. And it's precise, a lot of concentration. And if you're self-employed, you got the stress of keeping all your employees and keeping clients and all that, customers, patients, that's what you call them. I would. It depends. I mean, if you're not thinking of necessarily becoming a professional musician, you're not thinking about touring. You really wouldn't want to because you would be taking a huge pay cut to restart a career, and you have to be pretty good to do that. So to specialize and pick a genre that you like the most, or what do you tend to listen to? What music do you play in your office? My dentist actually plays yacht rock, which is fun. do you like classical music? You know, do you want to study classical guitar? Or, you know, I know your last name is Giannis or something like that, Giannis or whatever, and it's Greek. Would you be interested in getting a Greek bouzouki? I know my Greek bouzouki I only paid $300 for. It's not like they're expensive. They're hard to hold, but they're not expensive. Not the obviously cheap ones. But after work, I would say have something. Try to separate things into two camps: fun and work. Right? You know, easy, hard. Not necessarily easy, hard, but fun. Just something to fun that makes you feel good to play. Kind of something that's encouraging, whether it's some, you know, a simple song, maybe a Beatles song or a Stones song or something that you know from your youth. It could be, and then the harder thing could be a thing you want to work on, maybe a song you're trying to learn. Yeah, it's kind of noodling versus non-noodling. Noodling would be just kind of messing around. Noodling is phenomenal. Noodling is amazing. I would like noodle a lot. You just pick an open string and use it as your bass note and just noodle around. You know, just start messing around and finding things. I think that's really good for your brain. It's really good for relaxation. The other thing is your hands. I know dentist hands, you can get, you're holding stuff. Probably a temptation is to hold things too tight, but you also don't want to hold them too loose. And so you probably need something that's just going to kind of loosen up your fingers. You know, you could get, you could learn Dust in the Wind. And I taught that a million times when I was teaching guitar lessons. It's a Travis pattern. It's a bass line like that. I am a leprechaun. I am a leprechaun. I am a leprechaun. And the cool thing about it is C for 2 beats times 4, and then A minor, right? That's the intro. And the melody is. So the melody is a 3-bar phrase, and the chords are 4-bar phrases. So you get this, it sounds more random than it is. It's kind of cool. Okay, so John, I am going to upload the Pink Floyd track. I can tell you, how many do we have now? I can tell you what happened last week. Yeah, we're good. We got concurrent 19. That's not bad. So I did that jam track, right? Had I already tracked the guitar? Maybe I did that 2 weeks ago, and then last week I was adding bass to it or something, or organ. I can't remember. So I did the same thing that I did in the previous track, which was that Robin Ford, quote unquote, I put it in quotes, Robin Ford chord progression and some scales that go with it, right? And I mean, I think I don't even know if I have 400 views of that. So hugely unpopular, as are most of my videos. Let's see, content. What was that? It was. Yeah, Robin Ford jam track, 416. Wow, imagine that. Now, it's interesting because it's got like 95% likes, which is rare that I'm not at 100%. So somebody Googled Robin Ford and they got that and they were mad because it wasn't about Robin Ford or anything like that. But what I did with that is I had 12 minutes of jamming and 12 minutes of me playing over the jam. Remember, we did that together. And I just put those in one video, so it would be like 25 minutes. I put the scales in there, and the idea was that you can practice this playing over those chords. What was it? For 12 minutes, and then you can keep going but jam along with me and listen to what I do and maybe imitate it or get ideas from it or steal from it or whatever. So I did the same thing with Pink Floyd. Well, I knew of the Eagles, Pink Floyd, I think Zeppelin, they're the worst as far as copyright infraction instigator, and the chord progression is totally Pink Floyd. And so, what song is it? I forget. Yeah, Hotel California is with a capo, actually. Yep, it's up at the 7th fret. That's how they played it on a 12 string. Now does it go to? No, let's see. Let's see. Shoot. I can't remember. Anyway, I'll think of it in a second. I don't want to get in trouble. See, so even last week's live stream, I got a copyright strike on because I was jamming along with that jam track. Well, I didn't notice that until last night. But when I uploaded, so I did the video, I created a simple video, super duper easy video to create, but the track was playing around, it took time. So I uploaded that 25-minute video, knowing that probably they're gonna do a copyright, like, nope, you can't do this. And I was almost assuming that the chord progression would trigger that. But what it said was, and keep in mind it was a 25-minute video, it said 1604 to 1759 is a copyright, is, what's the name of the song? Dang it. Oh, you're flying to New York? Oh, nice. To see David Gilmour? Oh, that'll be a great trip. Holy cow, at Madison Square Garden. Oh, how fun is that? So anyway, it was part of that was the solo section. It wasn't all of the solo section. It was, and I'm like going, I wasn't playing what he played. I was kind of just improvising myself. Now maybe I got close to some of the stuff, but that was a pretty big chunk, and I could have had it cut out, but it would have been really weird for you to watch a video and all of a sudden it skips, right? I probably should have done it that way. I could still do it that way if I wanted to. But what I did was, okay, I'll replace the guitar in that section, because that's clearly the only difference between the first 12 minutes and the second 12 minutes is that I layered a guitar on top of it, electric guitar soloing on top. So I thought, well, okay, so that's the only thing it triggered. So then I replayed that section and then rebounced the video, re-uploaded the video, and the copyright strike showed up again, but this time it was for the beginning of that section, like 1250 to 1402 or something. And I'm like, well, that's weird. Why didn't that trigger it before? I only replaced the 16 to 18 minute, section, the 2-minute section that was at that spot. So then I figured, okay, no matter what I do, they're going to find a copyright infringement on it. So I uploaded only the jam track, which is 12 minutes long. It's sitting here right now. All I have to do is, it doesn't have a copyright issue. It says no restrictions. So no restrictions on that one, I think. So once I just got to title it and then maybe add some text in there and stuff like that. So it's ready to go. Oh, I need a card. I need to do it like I did for the Robin Ford one. Except I already did one for it, and it said, and jam along with me. But that part won't be there because I couldn't get that past the copyright police, which is fine. But here's what happened with last week's live stream. And so I opted on last week's live stream to go ahead and have them cut out that bit. So if you go back and watch the live stream, you might notice there's about 2 minutes chopped out of it. And it should just go from that point to the next point without a gap. It's not like 2 minutes of, dead air. But what was interesting about that was I didn't notice it right away. Well, not interesting. Okay, what's so infuriating is I went to the ad thing. They'd put because I'm sharing, me, I set it up here so that you get an ad every 30 minutes. I feel like that's enough. But what's crazy is they put an ad every 5 minutes. I made like $8 off that video. So even revenue sharing with Pink Floyd, I made a lot more money than I ever make on a live stream. But the problem was I lost 2 subscribers because they're watching it and they're going, oh my God, another ad. Oh, geez, another ad. Oh, geez. And, you know, I don't know when the ads are. So they could be right in the middle of a thought or something. So I took out all but the 30-minute ad, every 30-minute ads. And I took out the section. They make it real easy to fix the problem. So I've never gotten a sticking copyright strike. I think if you get 3 of those, you're done. They take down your channel. Anytime I've disputed a copyright, I've won. But I don't try on something like this because if I lose, then that's 1 strike. So, oh, Roy, sorry, I didn't see you. Hi, I'm in my 40s and started to learn guitar 6 months ago. Awesome. I'm struggling with changing chords without my right hand stopping. Okay. That's so you're talking about your right hand is your strumming hand, right? I'm assuming you're right-handed, so that's what. Okay. So that's really, really, really important. The first thing I want to commend you is that you realize how important it is to keep your right hand going, even if it's just quarter notes. Nobody can sing along with that, right? That's basically in 5/4. That's Let It Be in 5. No, I can't even do it. I can't sing it and do it at the same time. So you're right. The basic strumming groove that I always, try to get people to play, and it's not easy at first. I call it the standard folk groove, and it's this one. But one of the things you can do is start with maybe 2 chords that are very easy to change between. Like you could do G like this, and then C2 like this. So you've got, all you have to do is move your dominant first and second finger. I'm not even asking you to move your pinky. Your pinky and third finger can stay put, and you can just go like this. All right? And just practice. And you go slow. If you can do it slow, you can do it fast, but you got to start slow. So if something's too difficult or you keep messing up, you want to slow it down. Also know, you're finger picking with 3 fingers. Where'd your, sorry. Oh, thanks, Bruce. I see what you said. Okay, so finger picking, same kind of thing. You could do kind of like a G. So thumb and 3 fingers. You could pick up. Let me see if I can find an Amazon. This is, and you don't even have to know how to read music to do this. I think pretty much all of them now have tab, which kind of bothers me when classical music books have tab. But there's something called Giuliani Arpeggios, and boy, I'll tell you, that thing, that book, I had my professor made me do it, and he made me like do some crazy stuff with it. But accenting one finger over another, in the middle of it was like crazy. Like, okay, now do it 100,000 times this way. Now accent this note and do it 100,000. It's like that kind of stuff. But it's only 2 chords, and it's very kind of classical and old school sounding. You could do any chord you want, but it's basically C, like C. And G7. Sometimes, and that was technically G7 over B. And I'll write this down. See, that movement's kind of cool because it creates a leading tone. Playing a B right there, and that leads right to C. Okay, so let me find the Giuliani Arpeggios. Literally, the book is 200 years old. Roy, you and I could publish a version of it and wouldn't have a copyright problem. So if you're in publishing, let me know and we can work together on this and release. Let's see. No. What did I just do? Why did I hide that? Okay, tab. All right, so pulling up Amazon. I'm going to here. Am I logged in? Yeah. All right. I think it's Giuliani. I think it's, is it 2 L's? Giuliani Arpeggios. Okay, so I didn't spell it right, but it'll probably come up. Oh, here it is. Mario, okay. 120 different patterns. All right. Really good for giving you a whole lot of a big giant toolbox of right-hand arpeggios or finger picking patterns. Okay, now how do I create? Oh, get link right here. Okay, there it is. Okay. So check this out. And here's the thing. If you want, hey, we're coming up on Christmas. Bookmark this link and do all your Christmas shopping through this link. I think. Let me see if it has pictures of the pages and see if there's tab in there. But here's the cool thing about it. If it doesn't have tab, it's the same 2 chords over and over again. And I'm not seeing any. Well, yeah, only the cover they have here. It's $20. Like I said, let me get rid of this window here because it's really bright. What the heck? There we go. Oh, dang it. I just realized we can't do that. All right, so. So like one of my favorite Giuliani Arpeggios is this one. And so if it doesn't have tab in it, if it's a written music, if it's that chord, you'll see 5 notes on the staff and you go, I can't read that. But if you learn those 5 notes and just memorize where they are on the guitar, and then these 5 notes, maybe 6 notes, and sometimes they add the G in there, but ultimately you only have to memorize like 10 little things, teeny tiny little things, and 10 things that you probably already know. But the C chord is this. I'm going to write it out here. And you know, they start out with the Giuliani Arpeggios with on top 5 strings, so they don't use the bottom string. So C is played X, not Z, 3 2 0 1 0. Okay, so that would be the C chord. All right, and then it's a G7. Technically, I would call this G7 over B, and that's 2 0 0 3 1. All right. Where are we today? We are in California. I'm just taking questions. I'm just talking about whatever anybody wants to talk about. But and so again, it's and you don't have to learn all. I never learned all 120 of these. Trust me. I was only in college for 1 year, so I didn't have time to go through them all. What my teacher would have me do is check this out. It's hard on steel string. I think it's more noticeable on nylon. But anyway, he would say, so that's a 6-note pattern, right? And then it repeats. And I'm playing thumb on the 5th string, 3rd string, 1st string with my ring finger. And then I'm playing thumb on the 4th string, 3rd string again, and 2nd string. So it's like outside notes, outside voice, inside voice. Outside voicings, inside voicings. Okay, and that's the pattern, right? Well, he go, okay, now I want you to accent the first time you play the 1st finger. So it's like, oh. And he goes, okay, that's too much accent, more subtle. I'm like, really? Okay, well, how do I? Okay, now bring up the, it's like, oh, he would just make me work so hard. It was like, oh, really? Why am I ever going to use this, right? One of the, like get the top note. And I'm doing this, and I'm like, why is he making me do this? And then I realized later in life, as I'm writing pop songs, what was the one I did with Justin Bieber? I did it. I don't remember. Let's see. But I did one that was like this that he wrote over. It was like that's it. Something like that. And in playing that, I'm accenting different notes at different times and making things pop out. And I'm like playing, you know, that's a time when I'm looking back and going, oh, dang, Brett was totally right. My teacher was totally right. It was like, I'm totally using this every day to kind of make things jump. So yeah, it was an interesting melody. Basically, what I try to do is play each one of those chords not how you would normally play them. So a pop song would be, but I put notes on those. I put the 7th here, put the 6th on this one, I put the 4th on this one, I put the major 7th on this one, I did it again, did the 2nd, and then the sharp 11. So the top note in every one of those chords is kind of not in the chord. And I know when I send something like that to a writer, it ignites their imagination. If I just gone, you know, they would have just gone, okay, yeah, and they'd have ideas, but and to my detriment, part of the problem when I do stuff with, like, particularly with Justin, it's like, he writes over it, does this amazing vocal thing. I think we've done like 40 songs. And I go, okay, so we're going to produce it out. We're going to put drums on it and beats and you know, bass and synths and lots of vocals and all sorts of stuff. And they're like, oh no, we just love the sound of Justin's voice and your guitar. It's so beautiful. I'm like, yeah, but no radio station is going to play that. With one exception, they did do, what was it? But that wasn't me. I mean, they actually hired me to replace the guitars on that. It's originally Ed Sheeran on it. And they hired, the producer hired me to replay the Ed's guitars on it, because Ed wrote the song with Justin. And then they also hired a couple other guys. I don't know if I was first or last or middle or whatever. And nobody could get Ed's vibe. And the reason they needed to replace it, because there was a hum the whole time on the track. It was like, you know, this whole thing. So they used, I think, RX, which is a software that can get rid of that stuff. I don't think you can hear it all in the original, but it's basically just guitar, voice, and a trumpet solo, which is a friend of mine, Phil Boudreau. But yeah, so okay. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Bruce, for helping me keep tabs on this. How do you accompany a singer on the spot? Songwriting advice. How to accompany a singer on the spot? Well, I mean, it helps if you know the song really well. Like Roy kind of, you know, Roy puts out, it's you're completely useless if you can't keep the groove going, right? No one wants to sing with you if it's like, when I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to, you know, they're like, you can't. And I say the same thing about the blues. You need to learn how to play the 12-bar blues. It's kind of weird, to be honest. It's one of the most common progressions in rock, obviously blues, and jazz, even country sometimes. Actually, I've heard a couple country songs recently that were just blues progressions. You know, 1, 4, 5 progressions. But it's really easy to kind of get lost and do an 11 bar blues or a 13 bar blues or a 10 bar blues. Well, if someone's trying to solo with you and you're, you know, like, so far so good, but you get to the turnaround, you didn't go back to the 5 chord. It's like, no, you have to end on the 5 chord and you skipped a bar. So now you just played 11 bar blues, which is a whole nother thing. But the guy that's soloing is expecting you to go to the, you know, he's expecting you to go to the 5, and you didn't do it, and now he's like, oh, okay, well, I'm not jamming with that guy again. So I think part of it is, yeah, if you know a song really well, we're talking about just accompanying a singer. If you both know the song, I mean, the singer doesn't necessarily have to know it very well, but if you have to be solid, and you start with simple songs. I mean, Let It Be is a perfect example of a fairly simple song, although it's got an F chord in it, which a lot of people don't like. If you played it in D, it would have a, you know, but it depends on the key that's good for the singer. So G might be a better one. So it starts on the 5th. Find myself. And maybe pick a key that's best for the singer, obviously. But you can start with a key that's easy for you. There's a joke in church music and in worship bands and stuff, like the worship leaders will just move their capo around so every song they play in is in the key of G. And there's a reason for that. So, I mean, they're playing G shapes. So if the key of C is too high but the key of G is too low, you could go here and play G shapes. Kind of where the Nashville numbering system comes in handy. You go 1 chord, 5 chord, 4 chord, 1. Okay? You can break down any progression into numbers, and then that makes it easier to transpose. I've been wanting to do a video on this. It's kind of one of those things that's kind of hard to explain. Usually what I would do with students, I would just we would write a chart together, like a spreadsheet with all the keys in it, the 1, 4, you know, and we would do it together so that I was checking their work in real time. I wouldn't just hand them a Xerox copy of the work and say, here you go. No, understand it. You could even do that chart and write it out 3 times from scratch, and it would start to sink in. You know, what's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 chord in every key, particularly all the keys you tend to use, like E, A, D, G, B, C. Those are the main key, you know, it's the caged keys, right? C, A, G, E, D. Those are your main guitar keys. So you should be able to play a 1, 4, 5 progression in each one of those, a 1, 6, 4, 5 progression in each of those, a 1, 2, 3, 4 progression in each one of those. That would be a skill to have. And you'll find so many songs of that way that use just, you know, those chords for the most part. So if you're comfortable with that, then you're going to be much more likely to make a singer happy. Now for songwriting, same thing. It's like you want to have. I have a friend that I wrote with. We were in a band together, and my songs, I don't know, our songs were definitely different. And he would write. I loved his songs, and he loved my songs. So it was kind of a mutual admiration society, which wasn't the name of the band. But Brad is a great writer. But he would use almost every chord in a progression, you know, and he would find really cool ways to use them. And he wouldn't necessarily use them as subs. I'm going to get off on a sidetrack here, but like in the key of G, G is the 1 chord. The minor substitution for G is E minor. The C chord is the 4 chord. The minor sub for C is A minor. D. The minor sub for D is B minor. Well, you can go the other way around too. If you're playing an E minor chord, you could always substitute the major sub, which is G. So to find the minor, you just go down 3 frets or a minor third, and that chord. There are 2 notes in this chord that are in this chord, so they have a lot of commonality. Yeah. Oh, you have many lyrics. Yeah. The hard part about lyrics and chords don't create a song. You need a melody. It's 3 elements, right? You need melody, lyrics, and harmony. Now, if it's an instrumental jazz tune, you don't have to worry about lyrics. If it's a rap, you don't have to worry about melody. If it's an a cappella thing, you don't need to worry. Well, harmony you still do unless it's one singer. But as soon as you have two singers singing two different parts, you've technically got harmony, right? So your melody may help determine what chords you're, the harmony underneath it, but the second part will really play to that. So I love that Beatles. Right? And so no, is it? Shoot. Yeah, is it just E all the come on, come on, come on. I can't. Beatles were really good at using every chord in the song, right? I'm sorry, my brain is just not. It's a close your eyes. Close your eyes. Oh, I'm in the wrong key. Dang it. I can't remember. Oh, that's a B. So it starts on the 2 chord, goes to B, but then it changes key. Oh, my lovin', right? It's great harmony. It's one of the things that just resonated with me in Beatles stuff. But the thing about this, the melodies, right? But the harmonies, I think it's just one note, right? You might do that, but it's high for me. It's so cool, especially that first half step. Brilliant stuff. And probably George Martin sitting there going, that's not correct. And then he listened to it later and went, oh, that's brilliant. And so even with just two singers, I mean, Simon and Garfunkel could sing their songs a cappella and you would hear the chords change. They were that, it was that good. Everybody's talking. Oh, Harry Nilsson. I got rhythm. Yeah. I got rhythm changes. Yep. That's a very common, you learn that, the chord progression. I got rhythm. There's a lot of ways to play through it. And it goes to a lot of Charlie Parker tunes used I Got Rhythm, which is called rhythm changes. So let's see. What do you consider rhythm a component of melody? Yes, but what about a song that has a rhythmic groove to it? And the melody is very simple. The rhythm's coming from the rhythm is coming from the groove. Yeah, I mean, as far as what's copyrightable, the melody, which is however it is, if it's ba da 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 da, that's rhythmic, or if it's da 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 da, it's still a melody, plus the words, plus the harmony. And I don't think you can steal any two of those and call it your own. Obviously, you can't copyright the phrase "I love you." So there's a million songs that say "I love you," or "baby, baby, baby," right? And also same thing with melody. Do, re, mi, fa, sol melody can't really be copyrighted. A I don't believe you really can copyright chord progressions. It would have to be very identifiable to. I just don't think that can be a thing. Rhythms, I don't. Grooves, like Ed Sheeran got sued by the Marvin Gaye estate. Again, it wasn't Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye would never, ever have sued. Marvin Gaye would have said, "Do you know how many people I've stolen from?" It's not even close. It's like, that was the most ridiculous lawsuit because he went, what was it? No, was it? Was it? Shoot. Nah. It was, but there was that. So, I mean, you can't copyright that group. I'm not sure where that lawsuit's, but you know, these things need to be fought and all that. Hey, what's going on? What is a key? How to visualize to get around the guitar. Sorry, and we're still talking about chords and melody and harmony and all that. So, who was it? It was asking me, hey, Richard, Abdul, what's going on? Sam. Was it Sam? Okay, so there's other elements that I would consider production, which I don't think are copyrightable. So, like, for example, you've got melody, lyrics, and harmony. And you can break a song down simply to that. And I was going to talk about chord substitutions and bringing things in with my friend Brad. But anyway, but then you've got like groove, which I wouldn't consider part of the melody, right? But groove, like, is it going to be... Or is it going to be... Or is it going to be... Now, that's 6/8, so 6/8 would be different than 4/4, so you would have different rhythm in your melody, most likely. But yeah, so you're going to have different grooves, and that's not copyrightable, I don't think. I don't think grooves are copyrightable. Then you have different instruments, right? And it could be like a male voice or a female voice. Or you could have acoustic bass, upright bass, or you could have electric bass. You could have real drums or programmed drums, or beat machine or something like that. You could have piano or an organ, or you could have an orchestra, or you could have a wind ensemble, or you could have a big band. We've all, like, who was it did a big band, Tony Bennett did a album of a bunch of rock songs with, big band arrangements kind of thing. Totally cool. Not by itself copyrightable. The songs are already copyrightable. So, John knows I'm going to try to get to that, Dennis. Yeah. So the Western music is broken up into 12 notes, and keys are 7 of those notes. So and we have keys and we have modes, and they're kind of the same thing. Like the key of C is just right up. It's all white keys on the piano from C to C. But if I did those same exact notes and started on D, I would create what's called a D-Dorian scale. And if I went from E to E using the exact same notes, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, being total racist and only using the white notes, you get what's called an E Phrygian scale. But I could do an F Phrygian scale if I just move everything up 1 fret on the guitar. So that would be a different key. So C, or C sharp, or D, E flat, those are all different keys. As far as visualizing them on the neck, what I've done, and I didn't know it was called this for the longest time. I taught this type of visualization for, how long did I teach? I taught from the age of 15 to the age of, was it 50 or 55? I taught 35 years. So yeah, age of 50, I stopped teaching privately. And I may do it again someday. I may open up the doors again and start teaching privately again. If the phone stops ringing for session work and all that stuff, then I might do it just to bring in some extra income. I love teaching. Obviously, I'm sitting here with you guys. But it's super easy. There's something that's called, and I don't want to say it's easy, but it's easy to remember. It's the caged method. So a lot of guitar players do this. It was called the caged method before I ever knew it was called the caged method. All I was doing was I was saying, hey, look at the shapes. And if you know the how to spell the word caged, and you know basic guitar chords, then you can see the root of the whole methodology of seeing the guitar, okay? So we have C chord, A chord, okay, G, E, and D. That spells cage, C-A-G-E-D. And what happens is that word is spelled out on your fretboard starting on whatever letter you start on. So if I start on C, the next C shape looks like an A chord. The next C chord, sorry. Let me say it this way. I'm going to use two words. I'm going to say chord and I'm going to say shape. Chord is what it is. Shape is what it looks like. Okay? So here's a C chord. It looks like a C chord. And it's a C shape. It's both. But here, this is a C chord, but it's an A shape. See, it looks like an A chord. A, B flat, B, C. Now, not an easy chord to play. I've got a whole video on that darn B chord, or the son of a B chord, I think, right? Because it's hard to grab that chord. But to visualize the fretboard, you don't actually have to be able to play it. You just need to be able to see it. So if you can just see this shape here, the next one, what's the next letter in cage? G, right? So the next C chord looks like a G shape. Or it looks like a G chord, but it's a G shape. So if I play this G here, G, A flat, B flat, A flat, A, B flat, B, C. Now I would rarely play this chord. I might play this one. I definitely will play this one. Right? I might play this. I might play, but rarely would I grab this whole chord, okay? But I can still see that it's there. So when I'm soloing in C, now see, I went from here. Now I'm visualizing this shape, right? And so now I have a whole battery of licks that I can do around this shape. And then the next shape up is, and that whole major pentatonic scale is all right there. This chord, when you play this chord, you're playing 6 notes. You're playing half of that A minor pentatonic, which is related to C. Yeah, that's the hard part, Sadie. It's like, where is that next? So the next one after G is E, right? So the E shape is like this. So, but where is it? Is it here? Is it here? No, it's here. So yeah, that is the hard part. It's like, how far do I go from here? But one thing you'll notice that you can use these little tricks. The bottom of the G shape one is the same as the bottom of the E shape one. So then you're there. So now and this chord you would play. This is a bit. That bar chord you should learn and have in your arsenal at some point in your young guitar playing career. But again, I'm less talking about playing these chords and more about visualizing them. Like if I was doing a rhythm part based around this, if I had a piano player and a bass player, I don't need to do all that. I might go. Yeah, exactly right, Knees. I would write it out, like find all the shapes in the key of C using the caged, make a diagram, maybe print up. You can get them online, get blank, fretboard diagrams, and write it out. Okay, write it out, throw it away, and then write it out again, and then throw it away again, and then write it out a third time, and you're probably gonna be a lot closer to having it if you've written it out 3 times. Okay. And then the last one was the D shape. So again, when I'm playing, you know, if I'm playing up here, whether I'm playing rhythm or lead, now I'm visualizing this shape. Now I'm going to go up to the G shape. Now I'm in the E shape. Might do more blues licks in the E shape. Again, every shape's going to have certain licks that feel good in your hand, certain licks that are just natural to play in that shape. And then I go up to this one. And now I'm on the D shape, okay? So, but what if, wait a minute, what if we start on A? Well, okay, you're not technically spelling caged at that point. You're going to be spelling aged C. Okay? So you're going to start, instead of being the shapes C-A-G, you know, cage, it's going to be A-G-E-D-C. Right? But the chain of events is exactly the same. So after the A shape, right, is the G shape. So here's the G shape, but that's an A chord. The next one after that is the E shape. There's the E shape, but it's an A chord. The next one's a D shape, but it's an A chord. Here's a C shape, but it's an A chord. Again, learning those positions and the relationships from one to the other. I mean, with the D shape, you can see this little triangle. Well, there it is right there in the C shape. You don't really realize it when you're playing open C that there's a little triangle there. But if you play D with the same way, now you see the triangle. Right? That 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 2nd fret. Okay? So I generally kind of use the cage method to visualize the fretboard, like most other guitar players. The guitar isn't a very good instrument for you know, memorizing shapes and scales, because it's not a perfect fourths or perfect fifths. It's fourths and then a major third that's stuck in the middle between the G and the B string, and you're like, what the heck? Why did they invent guitar? But if you were to tune a guitar so it was perfect fourths, so it was this, right? It would be so hard to play most chords. It would become only a solo instrument, like a violin or something. You really wouldn't ever play guitar that way. I remember trying it and sitting there going, yeah, wait a minute. If I play a C chord, well, that's going to be C sharp now, and that's, so then I take off this finger. Now the G is here, you know, and you know, much smarter people than me created the tuning that is now the standard tuning for guitar. Now, keep in mind, I do a lot of weird tunings, or I'll drop the D down if I want to get a low D or something. But yeah. Oh, that darn G shape. No one told me. No one said the full shape. Oh, uses a full shape. Yeah, as far as that goes, like when I was a kid, I learned it this way or this way. I mean, I'm getting more and more into I love the sound of that third, especially muted, but ringing out, that can be a little bit, it can be a little full sounding or a little muddy on the bottom. And then what started happening in the 90s, I noticed people started playing both the D and the, so then, because what was happening is, one of the things you don't want necessarily is 2/3 in a chord, 2 Bs in this case, because then you have 2 leading tones. It's parallel movement, which is frowned upon in classical music. But rock and roll wouldn't exist without parallel movement. You know? See, that's all parallel movement. You know. All of that is completely taboo in classical music, but or at least in music theory prior to the 20th century. And that was one of the things. So if you had this G shape, you had a B here and a B here, open B string, and if it was leading to a C chord, you had what's called parallel movement. And that's kind of, like I said, that's kind of a bozo no-no. But if you play G this way, now you got this B and this D, and now you have this movement. You have contrary movement. You got this note going up to C, and you got this note going down to C. So you get this much more interesting. Now, I think in Gregorian chant, they would do a lot of parallel movement. but that's Gregorian chant goes back, 700 years or so. Yeah, well, on the cage method, yeah. If I want to do arpeggios based on all of the cage that could, this one doesn't really have any. Oh yeah. Yeah, it does. The pesky G in the key of C. Oh, you now see it as an A shape, yeah. Not bozo no. Not a bozo no. A bozo no. The yeah, I know that was something a friend of mine said, so I just I adopted it. Yeah, so hopefully, Janos, that helps you. I don't know if I'm saying your name right, Janos. Hopefully that helps you kind of get on the path. I put my guitar down for a reason. We did a whole series on the live stream of Cage Method. So like way at the beginning during COVID, when I got locked in my house in California, couldn't leave the house. Not because I had COVID, just because they told you don't leave the house. It's like, really? It was ridiculous. Unbelievable. Anyway, don't get me started. Let's see. So if I go to my YouTube channel and I go to search my channel and I put Caged in here. Okay, I've got live stream show all. It says 47 different videos I talk about the Cage Method. I have some that are quite old. Let me grab this one. Get shareable link. Okay, so this is one that's from 2015 in my apartment back before we bought the house. I bought a house very late in life. It's doable even in California for a guitar player. But so that's one of the. You can see me with different hair. Solo 105. This one you might find interesting. This is much more recent, probably better production value. Got a lot more views. Get a shareable link. It is a big deal because guitar doesn't make a lot of sense. So finding ways to visualize the fretboard is really good. Yeah, and then the live streams. Oh my gosh, I have really old stuff. Let's go here. No, okay. So that was uploaded. Oh wait, those are quick riffs. Never mind. Okay. So actually the Cage Method, man, these are really old videos. This is from 2011, right before my dad passed away. Let's see. Get a shareable link. So that first one actually was a series I started on. It didn't do very well, so I didn't keep doing it. Caged quick riffs. Actually, the first one did pretty well. I got 3,300 views on that. I don't know. The C shape. But after that, that's probably why I did the others. And it was like, so I did D shape, C shape, A shape, C riff. Yeah. Riff 2 on that one. Riff 2. So I did 2. Oh, I did 3. So I did just little riffs that you could see, like I came up with a riff using the shape. Because that's kind of what I was saying about the Caged Method, is that each shape, C, A, G, E, and D, will have certain riffs that, like I always, that kind of lick where I'm doing a sus4. Right? I'm just kind of working my way through the shapes. Really, I'm not really. The shapes get in your fingers eventually. Your hands memorize the shapes and the connection. and all the connections and the notes that go back and forth, and you can find whatever, the common notes, all that stuff. They eventually get into your hands. I'm not really thinking them when I'm soloing. I'm more thinking, what melody am I going to play? How am I going to navigate this musically and say something? Okay, that ultimately when you're soloing, you should try to say something. You shouldn't just try to be like doing exercises or doing the new riff you learned this week or whatever. So I can't remember these cage riffs. I know that, you know, probably the one over the D shape was something like that. I don't know. Or maybe I did like a George Benson thing, like over the D shape would be. But yeah, so and then so the live stream, if I go to live stream, and Bruce, probably you have it handy there. I did a whole series digging deeper into the cage shape. I did it's just crazy. We did daily lesson number 1, cage method. So that, I think it was was this the first one? Get a shareable link. 4,000 views on this thing. Crazy, right? I'll tell you the truth. One of the months during the early months of COVID, I made $2,500 from my YouTube channel. And I don't know, occasionally some of you will put some money in there. I'll watch, back in the day I was watching like Rick Beato go live. I'm like, why wouldn't he go live every day? Because I'd see people give him $50, $100, $10, $5, whatever. It was just nonstop money coming in there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he just made $2,000 just sitting there talking for an hour. I'm like, why would you not do that? So I don't really get that. John gives me love every now and then. He's the dentist. Dennis John gives me some love like that. You're always welcome to. But I try to answer all your questions whether you pay me to or not. And again, but it was pretty amazing to get a $2,500 deposit from YouTube, from Google, during COVID. It was kind of scary for a couple months, and then I never was busier because I work with a lot of video game composers and people were sitting around playing games. So just checking in quickly while we're waiting for connecting flight. Oh, hey, Bob. Oh, you're sitting in Philly. I used to live in Philly when I was a kid. What is this? Why do I have a screen? Sorry, it's saying there's a screenshot up here, but I don't see it. Weird. Is it behind this? No? I always do that. I'll just delete it, see what happens. Oh no! No, I'm just kidding. All right. Good karma. Let's see. Lurk is a word I'm trying to insert. Well, as soon as you insert it, you're no longer lurking, my friend. Your lurking isn't working. Yeah, so when we were talking about the pentatonics, one of the things we did was, I'm sorry, not the pentatonics, the cage method. Inside every one of these cage methods, or chord cage shapes, is a pentatonic scale. The classic is I'll do the C here. Okay, so here's the C chord, right? Looks like an E chord. The pentatonic that goes there is this one, major. And I call that pentatonic number 2. We talked about that in the past. But if I play pentatonic number 1 starting on C, I get a blues sound. So with each of these shapes, there's both an overlay of the major pentatonic and the minor pentatonic. And the major pentatonic makes it happy, and the minor pentatonic makes it bluesy. And so but if I was here doing this shape, then the major pentatonic is here. Oh, sorry. Very familiar pentatonic number 1. And pentatonic number, sorry, my hands are just not syncing together. Pentatonic number 5 would be the blues. And so that's the blues pentatonic over the G shape. And then over the A shape, C chord, we have the major pentatonic, and then we have the blues pentatonic, which we... Yeah, I'm a poet and I don't even know it. What did I say? Jefferson Airplane. Yeah, never really got... Jefferson Airplane was maybe a little before my time. I was a Beatles fan. And the Beatles kind of... I don't know how much of the psychedelic movement they kind of ushered in. 67, 66 was Sgt. Pepper. So they were... The thing is, the center of the art universe was London. And that's where Paul McCartney was. And so he was kind of... See, John and Paul and Ringo were not in London at that point. By 66, 65, I think, they had all moved to the country because they were trying to evade massive taxes by buying houses. They were just getting taxed like at 90%. And their accountants were saying, you need to buy a house out in the country. Well, Paul, he was still living with Jane Asher's family and Peter. I actually did, I worked with Peter Asher and talked to him about this. I did a Christmas show with Peter and I hung out with him for a while, and I was because I'd read a book about Paul McCartney, a very detailed book about him, and he was talking about how he loved living with the Asher family, because I think both of Peter's parents were doctors, and they loved to play games. So every night they played games and stuff like that. Paul just loved being part of the family. He was dating Jane, but the moms told Peter, said, you hitch your wagon to this Paul McCartney kid. He's going places. And this goes back to, they started dating, maybe 64? Obviously, at that point, we already knew they were going places, but, oh, no worries. I hope it gives you direction. Yeah, there's a lot of videos there to watch, and they get longer. The first daily video was like 36, 38 minutes or something like that, but so it went to like 3 hours. I had nothing better to do, we're freaking out about COVID and all that. So Peter, I asked him if they still had that house. But yeah, so Paul McCartney stayed in London, and so he kept going to galleries and seeing stuff. In fact, he was the one that first discovered Yoko Ono, and he told John about her, and John went to see her exhibit. And so the tape loops and the cutting up tapes and splicing them together, and that was all part of Sgt. Pepper's, which was 67. But the recording of Sgt. Pepper's may have happened even partly in 66. There's some songs that they would record and sit on for a while and then get on a record. Or they'd write it and then re-record it and it would get on a record. But yeah, so I feel like Jefferson Airplane, they kind of were the psychedelic thing. And by then, I wasn't really ever into psychedelic music. I didn't get into Hendrix at the time. I didn't appreciate him until he was gone. Same with Stevie Ray Vaughan. I was kind of a jazz snob for a while too, so. Oh, nice. Oh, drummer did that? Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, a lot of people were doing that. Don't worry about the grammatical errors. Is that what you deleted? You made a grammatical error? It says message retracted. I thought it said redacted. Yeah, that's funny. Let's see. But I'm not opposed to Jefferson Airplane. My memory is more of Jefferson Starship, which is totally, it's like without Grace Slick, right? Is Grace Slick in Jefferson Starship? Maybe she is. I can't remember. I remember White Rabbit, but you know how I know White Rabbit is because George Benson covered it. And what is White Rabbit? Is it? It's just. Is it just like? It's kind of cool because it's like this. You could, and that's another thing where if you want to experiment with stuff, take all the notes in an E chord and all the notes in an F chord and turn it into a scale, and you end up with this. And it's fairly easy to visualize on the guitar because you have all those. Just imagine those two shapes together. Just play. I might add a D note in it. And then that just becomes technically an A harmonic minor scale. But that's kind of part of what harmonic minors. So minor scale would be A minor scale would be A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But A harmonic minor is A, B, C, D, E, F, G sharp. So you get this F to G sharp, which is a minor third, a wider interval, and then you get this leading tone going to the A from G with the G sharp. And that's, you know, just been around forever, that cadence and that. See, technically in the key of E minor, the 5 chord is E minor. So if I were to harmonize the key of A minor, I'd end up with A, B half diminished, C, D minor, E minor, F, G, and A minor. But E minor to A minor is not very strong, so they went, oh, well, if we play A major, it's a much stronger resolution. Particularly for that 5-1 resolution. So, yeah. What else is going on? Oh, wow. That's cool. I bet they're still up there, right? What song is that? Thrash. Which is that Pink Rabbit? I mean White Rabbit. Oh, the letter? Yeah, see, I don't know their catalog. You could fill a library with stuff I don't know. In fact, every library is filled with stuff I don't know. Oh, the box tops. Oh, is that box tops any relation to oh, thank you, Bruce. Yeah, that's right. Daily lesson was number 1 through 12 was Cage. So that's a good place to start because I'm just kind of now you will be seeing me interact when you watch the old live streams, and that can be a little frustrating. I don't mind it so much, especially if I go ahead and open the window that has a live stream so I can see what the YouTuber is reacting to, which really helps. So if you can do that, I don't ever delete the chat because again, if I didn't react to you at all, like if the chat was just for you guys and I just did my thing, then I might delete it at the end of the live stream. Especially if people got snarky or if they got, you know, promoting stuff or whatever. But I'm interacting with you. That's kind of the whole point of this, right? And I'm actually looking at a different window than you are. I'm looking at OBS, and then I have OBS here, and then a little sliver where I have the chat to the right of that. So that's, you see me looking down. That's what I'm looking at. Oh, Bob's taking off. Yeah, oh yeah, go get, yeah, don't miss your flight. Where are you going, Bob? Oh, he's probably going. Dang it. Did Bob say where he was going? Through Philadelphia. Where does Bob live again? Oh, is he in Ohio? Dang it. Where's Bob? Is Bob in Michigan? And then he's going to Philly, which tells me he might be going somewhere fun like Europe. Or maybe he's going down to hang with Bruce down in Florida. And if you're going through Philly, is that Delta? Whose hub is Philadelphia? I thought it used to be, it was, what was that airline? U.S. Airways? Was that Philadelphia? We got to figure this out. We got to figure out where Bob's going. Yeah, I'll call my friends at DHS and have his passport denied. When he shows up where he's going, he can't get in. I don't have any friends at DHS. That would be mean. So yeah, he was on a connecting flight. Yep, yeah, because I know he doesn't live in Philly. American bought U.S. Air, who had Piedmont. Okay, yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it, Sam? I had a friend, my neighbor, the dad of a friend of mine growing up, flew for Allegheny, and then I think he ultimately ended up flying for Delta. Is that right? And then they made him retire at 60. He was so mad. Now it's not 60 anymore; it's older. But he ended up flying for. He loved Japan, so he ended up flying for Japan Airlines because they would let you fly to 65. So he was in heaven. He was a great pilot. He's the one, I've talked about this before. I said, what? Dave Linsenmeyer. I'm sure he's passed away. He's old. He was slightly younger than my parents, but my parents would be this year. They were both born in 31, so they would be turning 93 this year. So my dad made it to 79. My mom made it to 85. I can't remember, 80, 84, 85, something like that. Dang, I'm almost there. Yeah. Doesn't seem like my generation is living as old as their parents either. My dad died at 79. His dad lived to be 87, I think. So, but my dad was a smoker, so he smoked and drank his whole life. So yeah, I'm not done either. Although I do have some bourbon here. And if you know bourbon, you know this is very good bourbon. It's mostly gone, but it's shared. I will have a drink of celebration with my boys when they got married. We had a drink. I think this is like $4.50 a bottle now. It's ridiculous, but I didn't buy it. It was a gift from a composer I work for. Oh, shoot, I got blurry. You guys are drinking, and that's why I'm blurry. I'm not blurry. What are you talking about? You look at a bottle of bourbon and you get drunk. That's how strong that bourbon is. It literally went through the internet to you and got you drunk, and now you're seeing blurred, you're seeing double. You're drinking a triple IPA. Where are you? My knees hurt. Is it early? Should I be chastising you for drinking so early, or is it lunchtime? Indian Pale Ale, yeah. I'm not a IPA fan. I'm sorry, it's too hoppy for me. And I didn't start drinking until I was 50. And when I say start drinking, I mean have a drink every now and then. I would have a celebratory, I told you that story about having a celebratory martini on my dad's birthday, and you're in bed. Oh, it's 10:30 a.m. Oh, so you're on the West Coast. Well, mazel tov. But yeah, it's so hoppy to me. I'm not a fan of the IPAs. What I do like, though, I really like Kirin Light when I'm having sushi. Like, I'll get one of those big bottles of Kirin Light and share it for sushi. And boy, beer is just perfect for sushi. And so I like that, particularly a light beer. And then in the house, if I have a beer, and it's so rare, I probably have 2 drinks a month. I mean, very rarely. Red wine knocks me out. Dang it, why is this not adjusting? I think if I go back here, it kind of adjusts. Red wine will make me very happy and very, like, Beth likes red wine, Tom. Because normally, dang it. I mean, you guys know I'm like a squirrel. You guys know that, speaking of, Cowboy, we're babysitting our son and daughter-in-law's dog. Cowboy, come here. See if I can get Cowboy to come here. You'll like Cowboy. But red wine, yeah, normally, I'm like thinking of 10 or 12 things at once. And I have a glass of red wine, it gets down to 3 or 5 things. It like literally kind of focuses me, I guess you could say. I'm really tired of this. I literally leaned over here to grab that bottle and it jacked up. It's still blurry. Not you, it's not your computer. If I get in close, it's fine. But then it's just a bad camera. I should get a better camera. Ah, there we go, finally. Cowboy. Cowboy. He's not outside. If he was outside, he'd be barking. But I don't know if he can hear me. I'm sure he can hear me, actually, now I think about it. Cowboy hears everything. Like, if someone's coming to the door, he knows a good 10 seconds before we hear anything. Hold the bottle in front of my face, exactly. It's like beer goggles, right? Oh, you've brewed beer for years. Oh, that's cool. Is that what you're drinking right now, the IPA? Actually, my pool guy brewed beer and got really into it. I think he stopped. He stopped doing pools. Oh, there's Cowboy. Come on, Cowboy. You want to say hi? Come here. Come here, buddy. So this is Cowboy. Hi, Cowboy. You good boy? You good boy? Your breath smells, but we gave him a bath yesterday, so he smells pretty good. But yeah, moonshine. Yeah, you can in California. They have so many restrictions. Like you can only make so much beer. Like how are they going to know how much beer you make? But if you're selling it, that adds a whole nother layer of restrictions. Because if you're marketing it and everything like that, and then you have to have a clean kitchen or whatever. He's not a puppy. He's actually 4 years old. About to turn 4 on the 16th. Were you asleep? Were you in your bed all the way across the house and you heard me? Yeah? What do you want to do? We'll go outside? Oh, and I know what he wants to do. I'll do it after we're done. I'll take him for a WALK. Oh, he's just yawning up a storm. His breath is so bad. Have you been eating the cat's food again? See, we have a cat, and he keeps eating her food. I keep forgetting to put it up high where he can't get to it. So, yep, Cowboy. Say hi, Cowboy. You're a star now. Yeah? You want to get down? Okay, there you go. Good boy. Yeah, I definitely think he was asleep. Oh, bless you. You want to get up again? Come here. You want me to hold you again? He likes being held. He's a toy Yorkie. And he's allergic to me, I guess. So, anyway, he can hang out. He's allowed to hang out in here. He's a good dog. He doesn't potty anywhere. Yeah, that would be cool. I mean, we love the pub culture in London and in particularly in Edinburgh. It's so different. Yeah, here's the thing. If I opened a pub here if Charlie hasn't been on in a while. I hope he's okay. But if we opened a pub here in Los Angeles, and we made it 100% legit British pub, and the thing is, and I imagine they have the sound up when there's really big important games, like if Edinburgh was playing in the cup or something, some kind of football game, called soccer but football. Then they might have the sound up, but they only had a couple little TV. They weren't really big TVs. They were like about that big, up in the corner. People weren't even really paying attention to them, and they had the sound off. Like I said, if there was a major game, maybe they had other TVs. But they just had these booths. It was dark. People would get a beer, and the beers were like this big. Beth and I would get these beers that would take us an hour to drink, and just have the nicest conversations with people. It's just chill and casual, and then we just like it a lot. Well, if I opened a place like that in LA, I just don't think it would last long. I think it would do well. I just think eventually it would be taken over by people that were really loud and obnoxious, and they wouldn't understand it. Look, dude, this is a quiet place. This is part of the reason people come here, is just to be chill and quiet and not get drunk and boisterous and all that. Although it's funny because that was the British pubs. The Irish pubs, they stayed open later. Like the pub we went to every day, which is right below our apartment in Edinburgh, in Newtown, was I think they closed at 10 or 11. But the Irish pub stayed open till 3. And our bedroom, even though it was on the back of the apartment and it was in the alley, we could still hear people like, oh yeah, you know, all that. And I remember being in London when we were in London. We had in 2014, and we brought the kids to London. There were two things I wanted to do when I was in London. One was go to Abbey Road, which God bless my friend Dan for getting me into Abbey Road. Um, and the other thing that I wanted to do was a Jack the Ripper night walk with the kids. And that's a big deal, you know. I saw an ad for it somewhere, and I went, "Oh, that's cool." And so I did some research, and I found the place. I thought it'd be fun, and I think it's for one thing, it's technically should not be called a. Oh, there's Charlie. Yep, I figured that was the case, Charlie. I was just talking about us opening a bar together in California, but. We the what's it called, the what's it the walk, the Jack the Ripper walk really should be called Tour of Skyscrapers Built on Jack the Ripper Murder Sites, because there was only one building that was still in existence from the original. Okay, well, you're walking around these neighborhoods, and it's a very small area. Is it West London or something like that? West End, I think. I can't remember, but you can look it up and see. And there's probably YouTubes of this tour, so you can kind of get the experience without having to be there. But the lady we had, man, she knew everything. She had a lot of information, but she was no fun. And you're going around with, like, there's other tours that are kind of overlapping or crossing paths or whatever. And there was this one guy, he had a laser pointer, and he's like acting it all out, and he was hilarious. And we're kind of like getting on the back of our group. You know, it's a group of 10, 20, 30 people, and we're kind of on the back of our group, and I'm like listening to what he's saying because it was much more fun. Thrash metal, fun. So you play Elizabeth Cotton Freak? Oh, do you play? I don't know. Yeah, I've heard of Elizabeth Cotton, but I'm not familiar with it. Cotton Picked, hilarious. She played it upside down. No, I don't know that. I'll have to check it out. I'll open a new. So what did you call it? Old women keep. Let's see, Elizabeth Cotton. Let me pull up a YouTube thing here. And I'll do a little listening to later after we're done. Freight Train. There we go. Okay. All right. Yeah, so she's playing a right-handed upside down. Yeah. Interesting. All right. Sam, years ago I arrived in London, went to a bar and ordered a beer. It was warm. I complained. The tender told me however long I'd be in England is how long I'd be drinking warm beer. That's right. I guess it was warm now that I think about it. I don't really remember. It didn't bother me. But warm is one thing. Room temperature is another. I don't know. It's probably room temperature, right? But it felt warm. It wasn't a cold beer. At the Japanese restaurant we go to, that Kirin Light is nice, icy cold, and the glasses are cold. But I don't know. Maybe I don't think they gave me. Maybe they gave us cold glasses, but that wouldn't make sense if the beer is room temperature. But I can't remember. That's funny. I wonder if Beth remembers. Yeah, warm to a yank, exactly. But that was one of the things when we were doing that night walk, and it was a late walk with the kids. But again, when you're on, jet lagged and everything, it does, you're up at midnight. So it was like a midnight walk, which was kind of fun, right? But there were a lot of people doing it. It wasn't like we were all alone and it was super scary. It was a lot of people doing different guides. And as we're going from one place to another, we walked past this alley where there was a bar, and it was like most of the people were outside, and there was a gate around the bar. You're supposed to eat, drink inside there, and there were people outside. And it was all guys and gals in their work attire, like they were all office workers. Because again, this is the West End. There's like all these skyscrapers, and they've probably been there since 5 o'clock at night drinking, and they were so blasted. They were so drunk. I mean, I've never been drunk in my life, and it was pretty funny. For the kids, you know, see, Alex in 14, he was 20. He turned 22 while we were in London. And then Jack would have been 20 and Emma would have been 17. So they were, you know, and you know, Jack, I remember I took Jack and Alex for their first beer in Paris, because in Paris they don't care and they don't card. And so when they were probably 14, 15, something like that, 13, 14, 15, we went to a bar, walked right up to the bar and got 3 Stella Artois, and they didn't care, you know. I just paid for it, and they're like, cool, have fun, you know. They thought that was cool. I thought it was cool because it's like, you know, having the first drink with my boys, and it was in frickin' Paris. I mean, how cool is that? So I wanted to create a memory. I also bought cigars, but Jack had bad lungs and he couldn't. He took one puff and he was hacking up a lung. And Alex was like, yeah, this is cool, you know, smoking cigars. We smoked them outside, though. Beth didn't let us bring them into the apartment. I don't blame her. She took pictures of us from the balcony of the apartment. And it was cool. In Paris, we got the same apartment twice. We got it in 2002, and we got it again in 2011, the exact same apartment. So we already knew the neighborhood. There were familiar places. There were even restaurants that we'd gone to before that we went to again. The ice cream, oh my gosh, the ice cream in Paris is so good. So, suggestion for Libicon. Oh, where'd you go? Yeah, LA is kind of, I don't know. Is LA fun? Yeah, people tend to do the things like when we have family come to LA, they go, "Oh, I want to go to Hollywood and I want to go to Venice Beach." And I'm like, God, those are the two nastiest places you can go. It's like, imagine like the northern part of Paris up by Sacré-Cœur. It's just nasty up there. It's like, you don't want to go there, you know, where Moulin Rouge. Now, you can go to Moulin Rouge, and that's a fun show. But, like, hanging up there. Now, Pig Alley up there, Pig Alley, or however you say it, but the servicemen in World War II called it Pig Alley, and that was where all the hookers were. But that's where all the guitar stores are now. So, let's see, what's the street in London? Denmark Street in London has all the guitar stores. In Paris, it's Pig Alley. And so Alex and I went up there. Well, we all went up there to see it and walk around and stuff like that. But it was just like a little kind of sketchy. But LA, like the cool things to do, like if you're gonna go to LA, I would always take people up to the top of Griffith Park, because on one side you can see all the lights in the valley of LA to the ocean, and you can even see Catalina sometimes. And the other side you can see the valley, which is where I live, and it's just two big giant, looks like oceans of lights on either side. And there were several movies. I think what's the Waterfront? What's that? James Dean. What was the Waterfront movie called? That was filmed there because there's a bust of his head. I never saw it on the Waterfront. There's a bust of Jimmy Dean. Also, the beginning of Terminator, when Schwarzenegger gets into our times, you know, like current time, and he's naked. That's at the kind of the food court up there by Griffith Park Observatory. You don't need to do the observatory. The whole thing, it doesn't cost, well, they may charge you now to ride a bus up there. I'm not sure if you can drive up there anymore. The other thing is the tunnel you go through to get up to Griffith Park. Okay, there's a tunnel you have to go through to kind of get up there. It's the tunnel they used for Who Framed Roger Rabbit, the tunnel between Toontown and Reality. It's also the tunnel they used in Back to the Future, where he's using the hoverboard and he goes over the top in the car. That's so. And I think it's also in Terminator. That tunnel is in a lot of things, a lot of movies. You can look on IMDb and see that. Other things you do in LA, I mean, Malibu is nice. It's a bit of a slog from LA, but Laguna Beach I think is really nice. A lot of shops, kind of high-end shops, a lot of hotels, a lot of motels on the beach there. The beach, Malibu is good. Malibu's closer for us. If we go to the beach, we usually go to Oxnard or Ventura. There was a couple hotels out there that we stay at sometimes, um, and so that's um, you know, that's oftentimes we'll take people there. Uh, yeah, Malibu, Laguna. Let's see. And okay, and so I will do the Hollywood thing. Here's how I do Hollywood. Santa Monica's okay. The homeless situation is pretty bad there. Everything's expensive. And the beach, I never liked Santa Monica Beach, but some people like it. It's just super crowded in the summer. The pier is fun. Yeah, the pier has a Ferris wheel and all that stuff on it. If you're gonna do that kind of thing, you could go to Universal Studios, you go to Disneyland, or you go to Knott's Berry Farm, which is like a family runs Disneyland, very cute, and also Magic Mountain. So you've got 4 pretty good size amusement parks. I feel like the rides are, kind of typical county fair rides at the pier, but it is good for pictures. Yeah, the homeless thing is everywhere in LA. They cleaned it up in our neighborhood, but it was worse during COVID. But as far as just people sleeping on the sidewalk, as I walk to Starbucks. Charlie, I know you're struggling with that, and I think about you all the time. I really do. And when I say think about that, that means I'm sending up prayers for you. And I know you grew up in San Marino. In fact, I think you know my accountant. And San Marino is one of the most expensive areas in California. So you've got a stark contrast in your periods of your life, and it probably makes it some ways even, some people never had anything and they go to not having anything and they don't hardly notice. My wife grew up very poor, and I grew up very middle class. And so, and she doesn't like being poor. So I do everything I can to not make her poor, but she's also very thrifty. It's interesting how her siblings all responded to that differently, Yeah, Charlie, if I'm down that way, I'll try to let you know maybe through here if I'm going to be heading down. I'm not heading down to San Diego anytime. We went down to San Diego and got a hotel down there. 2 nights I booked. And I'll tell you where it was, because I know you know that area pretty well. And then I had just done I turned in a bunch so we went on the weekend, right? So I went Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I booked 2 nights, Friday and Saturday. And I had just finished a bunch of work for a major film and turned it in on Monday. And I said, let me know if I need to fix anything. They had it for a whole week. We left to San Diego, which is about a 3-hour drive for us, right? And let's see. Let me go to Google Maps. And on Saturday morning, the composer's assistant called me and said, "Hey, are you at home? We need to fix some things." And I'm like, I'm not, and I could have lied. I said, I'll be home in 3 hours. I just said, no, I'm in San Diego. Beth and I went out and go, oh, well, no, never mind. We'll get somebody else. I'm like, no, it's like the panic of them calling someone else and then never calling you again. And I think he's called me since then. But so we were at a hotel right by the Midway. We were going to go to do the Midway. So it was, where was that? Let me find it. Let's see. Go to maps, open to maps. Okay, now it got white. See, the maps is big. I know where you are. You're actually in a very nice area, Charlie. Let's see. Did I bookmark this hotel? But you know where Midway is, right? And you're not near that. I mean, you could drive there, no problem. Okay, so Embarcadero, I think that's where we stayed at. Oh, there's the Midway. The Waterfront Park, we were right across the street from Waterfront Park, I think. And it was it was like a Hyatt. I think it was a Hyatt right there. And it was really noisy out there. In our hotel room, you would think the windows I could hear people in cars all night long. And I was like, didn't really like the hotel. The bedroom was okay. The room was okay. I guess I have to add hotels. Let's see. Should be a lot easier to click on hotels. Oh, here we go. No, it wasn't Springfield Suites. Yeah, it was a Wyndham. It says it's a 4-star hotel. It was not. Oh no, it has. See, it's got a 4.0 rating. See, I try to stick to 4.5 ratings. It's a 3-star hotel. It felt like a 3-star hotel. And I started looking for, I wanted something where we could see the water because I want Beth to have some nature stuff, but it just went. So we drove back up and stopped in Oceanside. You're up in La Jolla, I think, area, which is super nice area. So if I were homeless, I'm not belittling this. Charlie, you know my heart. But everybody, I guarantee you, everybody on this chat has thought about what would they do if they were homeless. And I would do pretty much exactly what you're doing. I'd be in my car, I'd find a place I could get a good shower every now and then. If I had any money at all, get a gym membership, something so you can get in there and get a shower. I know you got a cell phone or something, and I would go hang out at the beach. Anyway, the temperature would be cooler in the summer. And not so cold in the winter. And your views are great. You got the same views that people pay multiple millions of dollars for. You're about 10 miles north. Yeah, La Jolla is freaking gorgeous. And so, yeah. In fact, there was the Mission Beach. No, what was it? What was the name of that hotel? Yeah, Mission Bay. There's a really cool hotel in Mission Bay that I wanted to try to go to. We still may do that. I think Jack and Sawyer went there one time. So if we do that, we'll take you to dinner or take you to lunch. Let me see. What was that called? Do you know what it is? Probably. Where was it? Is it on the isthmus, like between the ocean and the bay? Oh, yeah. No, the Point Mission Park. Okay, I gotta put. Wait, Paradise Point. Is it Paradise Point? Yes, Paradise Point Resort and Spa. 4.3, 4-star hotel. Do you know Paradise Point? Yeah, watching surfing going on. Yeah. Is there a way you can do a job on your phone, like online? Help, some kind of. I don't know. It's so hard. Yeah, that's the hard part, is getting out of that situation. But somehow I know that you're a blessing to wherever you are. Mission Bay, yeah. I have a feeling you're a blessing. Mission Bay is kind of cool, and it's like there's this part of it where on one side is the ocean and on the other side is Mission Bay. So I got to mark. I'm going to mark that now. I think I'm in. Did I already mark it? Paradise. I think that's it. Yeah. Let me mark it. I'll just save it. Start, please. I think I tried to book something there, and it was a lot more expensive than they say advertised, because there were resort fees and then parking, so it was like adding another $120 a night. So it ended up being $350 a night instead of like $200. $200 a night, okay, but you get up to $300. It better be a really nice hotel. We got really lucky in Barcelona, and we stayed at, I couldn't afford it now, but we stayed at a hotel called the Alma. And then we got there, and it was for our anniversary. Was it our 30th? It was our 30th anniversary. And I got to the hotel and told them that, and they said, well, would you like to upgrade to a suite for another €40 a night? And and part of the reason I think they offered that to us is we had, I think, 8 or 9 nights booked there. So we were totally there for a long time, and I'd gotten a deal. I think it was like $200 a night. So the flight was free because I'd used airline miles, and the hotel was only a couple thousand for 10 nights, and then for €20 a night, I think, or maybe 40, we upgraded and we got a suite, and it was so nice. It was the best hotel room we've ever had, and the hotel was super nice. And now I look at that suite's like $650 a night. It's like, oh, are you kidding me? If I called them direct and said we stayed there before, maybe we could work out something. Hotel, I've never stayed. Hotel Del Coronado is very expensive. Yeah, what is that going for right now? Let me click on it because I've never stayed there. We had friends that always went there every year with their kids, and I'm just like, I mean, it's cool. It's a cool building. I might be tempted to go there. Let's see. Just to check it out and stay at a cheaper hotel on that. It's like an island there, right? Yeah, $553 for a night. But if I zoom in on it, right here, let's zoom in on it. Traveling with Tom. So there's 744. Who's that? The Shore House. It doesn't have very good ratings. So I think people are like, it's way over. So what's this? Beach Village, $9,000 a night. Holy cow. 4-star hotel. But here's one, it's $236. Glorieta Bay Inn, right there by the, here's the, no, that's the Cordova. What was it? What's it called? Coronado. Where's the Coronado? Dang it. I zoomed, here it is. Yeah, 563. And I mean, you could literally be on the other side of the road and 154 for Coronado Beach Resort. And it's got 4.7 reviews, and it's a 3-star. If you're going to be walking around, if I'm going to be staying at just a hotel and kind of staying at the hotel, then a nicer hotel is good. But if you're going to be getting out and about, and a lot of times the little motels, they don't charge, the cheaper hotels, they don't charge you, $85 to park overnight, which drives me insane. Yeah. 20. Yeah, I'm like, when was the last time I saw the ocean? Well, we stayed out. We go to this hotel in Ventura sometimes. So the next 3 Mondays in a row, I'm actually booked. It's just weird, but it's not. It's just booked. So I will. I hate to do this to you, but turn on the bell notification so that you get a notification or a text or something. A text or something that I'm online, okay? Because I may go Tuesday, I may go Saturday, I don't know. I may go Sunday afternoon, I don't know. But if you want to hang out with me, why you want to hang out with me, I don't know. But right now, how many of us are hanging out together here? We got 23. You want to hang out with me and Charlie? See. Yeah, the RV thing is interesting because I found out about something about, Charlie probably knows about this, but there are guys that will buy RVs like at auction, and then they rent it because a lot of homeless people get welfare, and so they have a monthly. Sorry, I gotta get rid of this window. It's too bright. Okay. They'll have monthly income, and they'll rent these RVs to them for $500, but they'll park all of them in one area. So all these people live in RVs, and they don't have electricity or anything like that. I don't even know if they move. It's kind of a scam. But yeah, on a working RV and a charging station, everything. Charlie, you have a dog too, right? Yeah, so you have company, but that's also kind of scary too. But probably good protection. Well, Jonas, we're Hungary. Oh, Hungary. That's the most complex language to learn. There's a joke. It's like there's a joke. The guy he dies, he goes to heaven, and somebody asks him what he wants to learn. He goes, "Oh, I want to learn Hungarian." And he goes, "You might have enough time." That's a really hard language. I'm Budapest is on my short list. I hope I said that right. I hope you're not the kind of person to get offended if I say it wrong. Speaking of expensive hotel staying, our son is going to University of Chicago and trying to find accommodations near Hyde Park, where the school is near. Oh, dang, yeah, Chicago's. Yeah, and you want to be kind of there, but the problem is, it's not just the hotel's expensive. If you're in Chicago, they're going to charge you $85 a night to park. It's like, are you freaking kidding me? And John, you would probably drive up there, right? You wouldn't fly up. Well, you drive up. So you're going to have a car to deal with. Actually, there was a hotel that we stayed at. They wanted $45 for parking. So what I did was I parked somewhere else and took an Uber to the hotel for like $10. And yeah, because we had a suitcase, and and then I took an Uber back from the hotel, and it was another $10, and the car was still there. I parked in a good area. I knew it was safe to park. Like there was no parking restrictions. And so it was $20 instead of $45. It just ticked me off. It was funny because when we walked in with a suitcase, they're like, "Where's your car?" I'm like, "Don't have a car." Like, dang it, we're out $45. But like the Ritz-Carlton downtown, which I haven't stayed at, is it a Ritz-Carlton downtown LA? I looked at it was $85. I'm like, you're kidding. And that we could Uber to. If we ever really wanted to stay at the Ritz downtown, I don't know if it was the Ritz. Oh no, it's the JW Marriott. The really nice Marriott downtown. I really have is like, what am I gonna? We're not gonna. Oh, okay. Was it our 20th anniversary? What year would that have been? 2007. I think it was our 25th anniversary. We stayed at the Bonaventure downtown LA. I'd never been to the Bonaventure. Oh, that's actually not true. Our first date was at the restaurant on top of the Bonaventure, and she'd never seen LA, so I took her there and we did a lap. Oh, speaking of tourism in LA, all right. If you're renting a car, you can do this. If you're with friends, you can do this. They may not want it, but what I would do with people that visited, and God knows if you came to LA, we could totally get coffee. We could totally get coffee or get breakfast or something like that. Totally down for that. So I'm in LA technically, but I'm north of pretty much everything you'd want to see. So if you didn't have a car, it would be a bit of a pain and a bit of an expense to get to me. But one thing that I would do in Hollywood, what I would do is I would go to Hollywood Boulevard, and Hollywood Boulevard isn't very long. Okay, everybody's heard of Sunset Boulevard, very famous street, But Hollywood Boulevard has the Grauman's Chinese Theater. It has across the street. It has I forget the name of the theater, but it has the big mall there. So maybe you go to the mall and walk around, go see Grauman's, put your hands in the footprints and feet in the footprints, or go to the see the Walk of the Stars. People want to do that, and it's pretty nasty. It's kind of where all the bums and hookers are. I mean, it's just like really you want to go to Hollywood? But I get it. You want to see the stars. It's famous. So then, and you won't see any celebrities there. They don't hang out in Hollywood. But then you get on Hollywood Boulevard and you take that till it ends, and it ends at, I think, La Brea, and that's just a left turn, and then you go about a block and you hit Sunset and you take a right turn and you just take it all the way to the beach. All right? And we would so once you get out of Hollywood and on that, there's some really cool places, and Sunset Boulevard kind of winds around West Hollywood, then West Hollywood, okay? And you've got you've got the Roxy, and the Roxy's a famous nightclub. A lot of records are recorded there. A lot of famous celebrities been there. The Rainbow Club is right next door. The Hard Rock Cafe used to be down there, but that closed. Alex played there. I don't think I ever played at the Roxy. I never played at the Hard Rock. Alex, my son, has done a lot more gigging than I have in local venues. So all the venues I played at in the 80s are all long gone. But it keeps winding around, and you see all the big billboards, and of course there'll be I don't know if the Marlboro Man is still there, but I think the Marlboro Man's there. All the big billboards, and you're kind of winding through, and you get into West Hollywood, and buildings and condos, and it's cool. You can actually find that drive on YouTube, and then you get to Beverly Hills, and you're going through Beverly Hills, and you got mansions to your right, kind of mansions to your left, but mostly roads that go down to mansions. But the big mansions are to your north of you. Okay, on Sunset Boulevard. And then you'll come to Rodeo Drive. If you want to take a left and go down to Rodeo Drive and see all those places, you could drive around that and then not have to get out of your car if you don't want. But then you get back on Sunset, keep going, it's Beverly Hills, and then Bel Air, famous Bel Air. Then it's Pacific Palisades, I think. And no, it's Brentwood. And then Westwood, Sunset Boulevard goes along the back. It borders the back of the UCLA campus, which is Westwood. And then you go under the 405 freeway and you get to, that's, I think, Palisades. Yeah, then it's Palisades, which is a nice area. And it's, again, it's, it's kind of windy, a little bit busy traffic. It's taking you a while. I'll tell you, so for this drive is typically, with a couple stops, is about 3 hours. And the drive ends up all the way at the PCH, the Pacific Coast Highway. And that is, as you go through Santa Monica, you're kind of north of Santa Monica, and you end at T at the PCH because the ocean. And right there is, Charlie, help me. What's the name of that restaurant right there? Gladstone's. And that's actually, it's a good seafood restaurant. It's not great. It's great. It's good. It's fine. For me, it's fine. And you can take family there. You're gonna be spending $40-50 a person maybe with drinks. But you can get out of there. You get fish and chips for $25 or something like that. But the views are phenomenal. You're right on the ocean. It's up above, in there. And so and then if you want to go back, you don't want to go back that way. You're going to want to go back on freeway. But if you take a right, you're going to go to Malibu eventually, and then keep going and eventually hit Santa Monica. Santa Monica is the other way. So if you want to Santa Monica, you go the other way. But if you take a right at PCH and go north, you're going to hit Malibu, and then eventually you're going to get to Ventura, Oxnard, Ventura, and then Santa Barbara, which is gorgeous. It was funny though, when my brother-in-law and his wife came here years ago when we first got married. He's like here 5 days, and he goes, "Well, okay, I want to go to San Diego." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's like 3 hours each way." "Yeah, okay, I want to go to Vegas." "Okay, you're here for how many days?" "5 days." "Okay, Vegas is like 4.5, 5 hours. I want to go to San Francisco and see my other sister." And I'm like, that's about 7 hours. So we ended up not doing any of that stuff. I managed to convince, but it was funny because we did that drive with them. We actually went to Rodeo Drive, and we saw a celebrity walking down the street. They got a picture and waved and everything. But it was like Tom Brokaw, somebody like that. It was like a talking head. And then we got to Malibu, and my brother-in-law took off his shoes, rolled up his pants, stood in the ocean, got a picture, and said, "Okay, we can go back now." All he wanted to do was get a picture of himself in the ocean, standing in the ocean, and that was it. I'm like, "You don't want to hang out here? Look at the ocean," So you remember driving through Malibu, expect a lot of traffic, yeah. Oh, summer's crazy. People park for miles up and down the beach, yeah. My friend Brad, who's, I think, back in town, I have to hit him up. I have to head over to Malibu and pick up my other banjo I got, and I got to pay for the one he already got me. So I got to pay for 2 banjos when I see him. His Malibu music's in Malibu, but they're not open on Monday, Tuesday. I think they're Wednesday through Sunday. So I'll probably go up Thursday there and pick it up and hang out and get lunch with him or something. You're in the middle of Hungary. Oh, that's crazy. You could drive through and come down from Alaska. That would. Who was I talking to that lived in Alaska? They lived in like Juneau, and you can't you have to boat there or fly there. You can't drive there. Is that right for Juneau? Juneau's like that. It's islands, like Venice. Can you drive to Venice, Italy? Are there any cars in Venice, Italy? I don't think there are any cars in Venice. Jack was just there. They're in Munich now. They were there yesterday. I don't remember. I've not been to Venice. It's on my short list, along with Budapest. I'm not going to get to see all these places. It's fine. Oh, you could drive to Venice? Okay. You can drive to Venice, California. And there are canals in Venice. That's why they call it that. Venice, California. It's not nice. I mean, the houses on the canals are pretty nice, expensive, but I wouldn't live there. I like our neighborhood. Kaposvar. Oh, Richard, where's that? Oh, J-Town, is that Little Tokyo? I've gone to, yeah, I've been down there a few times. Great food, great ramen. Holy cow! A lot of places during COVID though closed, so I don't know how much. I think a lot of those businesses got bought up and they're being turned into apartments and condos and crap. So, my St. George T64 base 6 came from that one shop in California. Well, there's so many shops, but how long ago was it? That's cool. Your St. George T64 base 6. That's cool. Never heard of it. You went to J-Town? Yeah, I mean it's still Little Tokyo. Is that what you're referring to, J-Town, or am I thinking of something else? Oh, near Lake Boston. No, you're having two conversations at once. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, because they call Koreatown K-Town, but J-Town I always hear talked about as Little Tokyo. I think Little Manila. No, Little. Yeah, Little Manila. No. Yeah, they don't call it Filipino Manila. No, there's Little Manila too. I think. I don't know. We had friends that were from Ethiopia, and they would take us to the I don't know if it's called E-Town or what, but it was Ethiopian like neighborhood in LA that was really I love Ethiopian food, and it was really good restaurants. I haven't been forever, but that was like West LA. It was a nice area. Yeah, Guitar Center in Hollywood is kind of iconic because of all the handprints. They kind of did that thing. And that's on Sunset Boulevard. And let me make sure that is, let me see. That might, and if you're a musician, that would be another stop. Oh, the vintage place is great. The vintage guitars they have. Because I told you to take Hollywood Boulevard all the way to where it goes down here. Yeah, and that is, I think that's past Guitar Center. So you would probably want to go. No, let me look it up. Maybe Guitar Center is on Hollywood Boulevard. I can't remember. I thought it was on Sunset. No, it's on Sunset. Yeah, it's on Sunset. And it is, oh no, it's after the drop. Yeah, no, it's not. No, Hollywood Boulevard's north of it. Yeah, that's right, because I used to go up to Hollywood. I would leave there and go up to Hollywood and cut across. Actually, I would keep going up, what was the name of that street north of there? Oops. Franklin. Yeah, I would go up to Franklin and cut over to Highland. It's a mess over there. It's only gotten worse. The other thing, too, you could do, if you can get in, is Magic Castle. But you need to know a magician that's a member. Okay, here's a little tip. If you want to go to the Magic Castle, if you get a room at there's a hotel there. If you get a room there, I think it's Sunday through Wednesday. So Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. You can get it. It comes with a ticket to. You can do a package. It's still like $100 a ticket or something. It's expensive. I took Alex there though on his birthday. Alex and I went there on his birthday, and we went to the hotel room. You have to dress up. You have to wear a suit and tie and everything to go to Magic Castle. And dinner's not included. Although I think we got a $200 dinner. It came with a $200 dinner gift card or something like that. I don't know. Look it up. You can stay at the hotel, but it's not. It's only Sunday through Wednesday nights. I think that you can actually, or maybe it's just Tuesday, 3 nights a week, maybe 4 nights a week, where you can actually go to the Magic Castle as a non-member. But you have to spend the money to get a hotel room that's right on the property, so it's right next door. So you park at the hotel. I dinged up my car in the garage. It's funny because they had these poles painted red and poles painted yellow, and I hit them both. It looked like ketchup and mustard on my bumper. It was like, It was a tiny garage, and my car. I got a Volvo, so it's a little bit bigger. But I'm like, and I'm blind in one eye, so I have no depth perception. So Alex was helping me, but I couldn't. I hit these poles. Not bad. I didn't damage my car or anything like that. I just got paint on my car. But it's a little trick. But I think it was $500 for the night with everything done. But it was worth it because Alex had never been to Magic Castle. He loved magic, and I've been a few times, and it's a lot of fun. It's so much fun. It's even more fun on Friday and Saturday when all the really, good magicians. Well, the musicians are all good, but they'll have, and it's shows. You get tickets and you go to these shows, and they'll have like 5 shows in this room and 5 shows in this room, and little rooms, the close-up magic rooms, and then just in the bar, guys are doing magic. So you can just sit in the bar and watch guys do it. It's really fun, but it's hard. It's a hard ticket to get. You really have to plan ahead. So look up that. Mini Manila, yeah, Mini Manila. Well, I forget what they call. What do they call it? P-Town? I can't remember. P-Town. That sounds like San Francisco. Yeah, it's a long way for you, Janos, or Janos. It's a long way from. I mean, we're looking at going to Budapest, and it's a long flight. I think what we'd like to do is maybe 5 days in Budapest and 5 days in Prague. We haven't been to either one, and Alex loved Prague, so I'd love to see Prague, and I'd love to see Budapest. I've got sites marked all over those countries, but I'm also aware that like Beth likes to see more naturey type stuff. Well, she goes home to Indiana every summer for a while, and so she gets to see all that. But it's one of those things where I kind of want to try to mix it up a little bit. So like if I was looking at Istanbul, but it's a very busy city. It's funny because we went to Barcelona. When we went to Barcelona, it wasn't in the top 10 for cities, but all of a sudden, as soon as we went to Barcelona, it's like number 4 in Europe. It's like Paris and London are number 1 and 2, and they alternate back and forth every year. And then Rome is number 3. And Barcelona's number 4. Madrid's up there too, I think. I haven't been to Madrid. We went to Amsterdam. We loved it. I loved it more than Beth did. Beth was a little put off by the red light stuff because you could turn a corner and all of a sudden, oh, hello. You see someone, you'd be like, really? Somebody's into that? I'm like, okay. You're funny. Anyway. Not been to Greece, Sam, no. Thought about it. I mean, that might, we'd be the water. And Greece is definitely, we might do Mykonos or something like that. And the culture, be able to see, is it the Acropolis or the all that stuff, the history. There was a while where I was reading a bunch of books about Greece and stuff, or about, Gates of Fire. I don't know if you ever read Gates of Fire. It's a great book by Stephen Pressfield. I like his writing. So I've been talking for almost 2.5 hours. I should probably go. Not too much about. I know. I wish if we were on the East Coast, we would be probably going to Europe twice a year. But it's a long ass flight from here. We're looking at maybe going to Japan. I love Japan. Beth's never been. She really has no interest in going to Asia, but she said she would go to Japan. It's a beautiful country, and if we can get out in the countryside, you see stuff there that you would never see anywhere else. And that's where it's a little problematic for me. It's like, why fly to Paris and go stay out in the countryside when it just looks like Indiana? I've been in the country of France, and it looks like Indiana. I'm like, why would I spend that much money? I could do that in Indiana. In fact, I may just take Beth to Indiana, and we rent a farmhouse and stay out in the country somewhere, and she would love that. And it would be super cheap. But the same thing's true with like, what's the wine region of Italy? What's that area called? Oh, that's awesome. We see, and that's for a place, because I know it can get kind of cold. Have you been there, Janos, in the winter to Greece? Because I know it's warmer than Hungary would be. Yeah, maybe Greece, and Greece would be one where we could do 5 days in Istanbul, and then maybe 5 or 6, 7 days in Greece or something like that. The Ionian Islands. I'd rather go to the Phrygian Islands, Sam, or the Altered Mixolydian channel. Okay, I'm going to try to remember some of this stuff. Tuscany. Thank you, Charlie. Yeah, Tuscany looks like slow. San Luis Obispo. I've not been to Tuscany, but I've been to the countryside of France. But the Tuscany I've not been to. But when I see pictures of it, I'm like going, why would I spend, $10,000 on a trip to Tuscany when we can, for a couple $100, go to Slow? And we go up to Slow, and we get a hotel that's kind of in the woods. There's a hotel up there that we like to stay at, and it's in a little valley, and we walk to the beach, but it's a long walk, and it's by a golf course, so it's nature-y. Yeah, don't go to Graceland Midsummer because it's very busy. See, that's the problem. Beth is teaching, and she doesn't want to take time off, so she's a teacher, so she gets a lot of days off, like her she'll get a week for Thanksgiving and a week for Easter and all that. But it's the same, it's the same week that everybody else has off, so it's more expensive and more crowded. And then she has summers off, which is great. So we went to, so that's why Hungary is a possibility. John so how hot does it get in early June or mid-June in Budapest? Does it get really, humid? I grew up with that. We both did. We're both from Indiana, so we grew up with humid. Croatia, I want to see Croatia. Again, I wish I had more money and more lives. Pretty much everyone can agree with me there, right? Oh my gosh. Yes, thank you, Charlie. West Tuscany, yep. Oh, your family is from the Ionian Islands. Okay. Let me look up the Ionian Islands and maybe I'll create a new, go to Google Maps. Ionian Islands, group of islands in Greece. So how do you get around? Boat, I'm assuming. Yeah, that does. Okay, I know where this is. Oh yeah, that looks freaking gorgeous. Holy cow, Beth would love that. Kind of looks like the Amalfi Coast too a bit. Where's the map? Here's the map. Okay. Well, can you show it to me? Where are the open maps? Ionian Islands. Oh, right there. Okay, so you fly into Athens and you can drive over there, right? It's not okay. It's not an island technically, right? Okay, all right. Let me mark it. I need to create a new list. That might be one where I don't tell Beth where we're going. Until we get to the airport. Here's part of the reason why we didn't do Greece, okay, in the past. And again, it's not, we live in great weather, okay? We live in California, the weather's great. We don't need to go somewhere for the weather. In fact, one of the advantages to traveling and being from California is even if we go somewhere and the weather's bad, like going to Amsterdam in the winter, the reason I went there in December was because I wanted to see Europe all dressed up for Christmas, because they really do it well and they're not afraid of it. I know Budapest is just gorgeous at Christmas time. I would really consider doing Budapest and Prague at Christmas time, though there might be snow issues. Okay, 38, 40. Okay, that's pretty warm, right? That's pretty warm. 40 is like 100, right? In my 90s. But so, like, the thing is, if the weather's bad wherever we go, I always go, well, it doesn't matter because we're going home to good weather. So a lot of people, they live in Chicago and they want to go on vacation in the winter. They're going to go somewhere warm. Well, I don't really have to do that. So that's a lot of Europeans go to Greece in the winter because of that, because they're getting away from the hot. So, but let me look at going to Athens. I wonder if United flies there. I probably have to fly. Okay, but so Sam, one of the reasons and John, one of the reasons I didn't, because there was a period of time where Greece was kind of depressed, and it was not, I wouldn't say third world, but it was like, I was hearing things that weren't safe. You had to be really careful there. You might get ripped off or whatever. And that made me a little nervous. I never felt unsafe at all in Edinburgh. London can be a little sketchy at times. France, definitely. There are neighborhoods you want to stay away from if you can. Barcelona, no. Never really felt scared in Barcelona or Amsterdam. Where else have I been? Rome, no, but the gypsies, you have to, and keep in mind, I'm a quarter gypsy, so I'm not disparaging gypsies. But my sister told me, she goes, well, be careful because they'll throw their babies at you, and while you're holding their babies, they'll go through your pockets. So I used to joke that I'd have Beth throw baby dolls at me, and I'd practice not catching them. That's for our trip to Rome. So I think Alex would really love to go on. They're kind of having to delay their honeymoon. I think he would really love to go to Rome, Florence, and Venice for he and his wife's honeymoon. Jack and Sawyer are there right now, but they're actually now on their way, or in Munich. I have to check their story on Instagram, find out where they are. Still pretty rough economically, okay, but better than the 2010s. Yeah, they were one of the ones that didn't benefit from the kind of European Union thing. And the other countries would say they were the ones that had to carry Greece and Spain and Portugal and Italy. You know, the southern countries were more affected by the European thing. The northern countries are. It was, you know, in a lot of ways it's kind of like the North and South in America, right? And during the Civil War, the South was more agrarian. It was farms and plantations, which was part of the problem, and the North was industrial. And they got their money from that kind of stuff, and so that's kind of like Germany's, you know, prosperous. France is fairly prosperous. You know, Sweden and Norway, Denmark, you know, Amsterdam, fairly prosperous. Even England, although England was never a full member, and I don't think is Sweden. Is Sweden a member of the Euro? Switzerland is not. Switzerland's always done well, and that's another trip we'd like to take. But okay, but you're igniting Greece. Looking at the pictures, I've got friends who've been to Greece and Mykonos and things like that. But I can just drive it, right? Crime worry is not true. Okay, much safer than most other European capitals. Okay. Yeah, and there's some really pretty cool stuff to see. So we could do like 5 days in Athens and see a lot of the historical sites. Probably would get a really nice hotel there. And then either train to Ionia, but it looks like on the Ionian Islands, I would want to have I would want to have I would want to have a car. Barbados. Sorry, that's what distracted me. My parents went to Barbados. They went to different. They eventually fell in love with St. Croix. I've only been to Curacao, which is the ABC Islands. It's just off the coast of Venezuela. And it was like a desert island. I got the crud burned out of me. I've talked about that. And now, you know, if we were going to go to an island, we'd probably go to Hawaii. And then also, our daughter's gone to Cancun twice, and there are these resorts that are all inclusive in Cancun, and they look pretty nice. So I'd probably be more likely to do that. It's a shorter flight. You know, it's still a 5-hour flight to Hawaii. Hawaii's way the F out there, but I would probably. Yeah, I would probably do Hawaii before I would do Caribbean. We have friends that cruise in the Caribbean every year, and they love it. But they hit different islands every day, and they're staying on the boat. So I think that's kind of cool. We'll see. Easily drivable on the islands? Okay. And the Ionian, Corfu are the two marquee destinations. What do you think, Sam? Corfu, is that the same Corfu that isn't there a Corfu, Italy? Where, okay, well, hold on. Let me copy and paste this. Hold on a second. Can I copy this? I can. Copy. I think. Let me go to text edit. New. So why don't you just open a new document? Funny. I got to change the font color. Where is the color? Here. Wait, there we go. Okay. Ionia Zakynthos. Go for it. Now, do you speak Greek, or can you get away with English there? And by the way, Guitar Center is on Sunset below Hollywood. So you would, if you want to go to Guitar Center Hollywood, you're going to want to get off Sunset and go down. And at that point, you don't need to necessarily go back up to Sunset. I think it's west of all the stuff you want to see on Sunset. So on Hollywood Boulevard, sorry. Okay, English is widely spoken. That's good. I mean, I would learn Greek a little bit. Conversational, maybe. I try to listen to a bunch of Greek stuff so I can start to recognize it. Anyway, I don't know. It's like, again, it's funny. One of those things where if work is slow, I have the time but not the money. If work is busy, I have the money but not the time. That's one of the downsides of being self-employed. You know, I don't get 4 weeks off a year where I can go, oh, let's do 2 weeks here and 2 weeks there. I wish, paid vacation would be really nice. I need to go. I should get going. I'm going to do, I don't know if you saw my shorts, but if you pull up my YouTube channel, watch the last short. I think I maybe posted 2 shorts since last Monday. I can't remember. One of them, if not both of them, were old ones from TikTok that I repurposed. And then, and sorry, my brain shut off. It got me thinking about other stuff. So I'm gonna. The shorts are interesting. They flame out. Like I'll get a couple thousand views right away, and then no views. So I don't know that shorts is ultimately the way to go. I feel like it's maybe a good way to get people introduced to my channel, and if one of my shorts happens to take off and explode and promote my channel, then great. Like the one that I did, the triple dive bomb video, that one, let's see, I think it still says like shorts, triple dive bomb, analytics. I got 58 new subscribers from that. I made $5.65 from it, so not life-changing. And then the real-time views in the last 2 days, 48 hours, I've got 12 views. But if you go to ones you haven't seen, if you thumbs up them, they will show up on more people's feeds. So if I go back and see what the latest one was the Alien Ships Rising video. So if you haven't watched that, give it a thumbs up. Now that one's got 812 views in the last 48 hours, but I've only made 49 cents from that one. And it looks like, as far as viewers, it's plateaued. Like, if I look at the last 24 hours, it's like just a few views per hour, whereas it was, 10, 20, 30, 60 views per hour just a day ago. So it definitely just does this and then flats out. So if I look at my first one that I did, the first short, which was the quick bar chord tip, let's see. And I don't know, maybe they'll get a second, right? Yeah, see, this one's got 7 views in the last 48 hours. Total of 4,000 views, 5 new subscribers. That's the reason to do it. If I can kind of catch lightning in a bottle, I can get some new subscribers out of it. So, can I do a tutorial when you do? Yeah, I haven't done that, right? Not how I played it, I guess. Not totally. Didn't I? I kind of did. It's funny. I'd have to relearn it because it was like I was just riffing. That's just me having fun with it. Oh, a short. Yeah, it would be hard. A short on that. I might do a short about the guitar and then tag Justin Bieber on it, and that would get some views. I did one for TikTok, and it didn't do very well. The triple dive bottom one on TikTok got 180,000 views. It was my 3rd TikTok, and Alex was so mad at me. It was so funny. But I'm actually thinking about doing a video on wah-wah. So it might, I'm probably going to kill myself because I'm probably going to record in Logic, have an audio file. I'm probably going to have a camera on my foot and a camera on my body, guitar, and face. So a multi-camera shoot with. So I'm like, oh, I don't know. It's going to be a bit of a pain, but we'll see. That to me sounds like a lot of work. I could technically, I could film it and break it into 4 or 5 videos because I have like five different things I do with wah wah that are really cool. Stereotypical things, but you might not know how they're done. What does it look like? Isn't that weird? It looks like I've got like a tattoo right here, but it's just the fact that my beard is darker there, or is that shadow? Shadow? I don't know. It's weird. Maybe I got chocolate on my face. I did have a chocolate croissant last night, but surely my face has been clean since then. Oh, anyway, guys, it's been 3 hours. I can't believe you're still with me, John. John did 5 patients and then came back. Do you just type that in search? Are you page come up automatically for Tom's page? Oh, translation. When do you depart for Ithaca? Thanks for the info. God bless you, Charlie. I'm sorry. I wish I could just take you in, I can't, but I don't even know you that well. For all I know, you're evading the reason you're homeless is you're evading the cops because you robbed 72 banks. You're a famous bank robber. No, because you wouldn't be staying put. So if you were in the same area, you wouldn't do that. So no, I'm just messing with you, Charlie. But if and you can, if you want, you can reach out on, you can hit me on the Gmail account associated with this, and occasionally I check my Gmail account and just say Charlie. That's Charlie, and that way I have your information. So if I'm ever going to be down there, I can see you. Okay. And we can talk more and pray. I'll pray over you. It doesn't hurt. Okay? But I guarantee you that. I've told you stories about that, and it's crazy. And sometimes, and God says if you don't, you can ask. You don't get if you don't ask. So it's one thing to ask for a brand new bike for Christmas. It's another thing to ask for God to show you the path he wants you on. That God will do. I don't pray for myself very often because I always think, well, why would God mess with me? But he actually does want you to ask for stuff for you. So it's okay. And for your dog. Stay safe. So we're coming up on winter, but I think where you're at, the best climate, you're literally, I think, in the best climate in the world. San Diego is known for having the best climate in the world, and I think you're totally do that. So, all right, buddy. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Yeah, always need prayer. Exactly. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for God. I seriously wouldn't. So, okay. Oh, John, what did you say? Yes, I am. Oh, I know you're young. I can kind of tell you're young. It's fine. I love it that you're here with all us older people. So, Sadie was here. We didn't have many ladies on. Yeah, have a great week, everybody. God bless you. We'll see. I may do that. The Wawa thing, and like I said, I may turn it into multiple videos just so that I can generate more views for it. So anyway, we'll talk. But I did one a long time ago on my channel, and it's time to update. And that's a lot of my videos are kind of updated videos. So God bless you all. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Oh, wait, I forgot to tell you. So next 3 Mondays, I won't be here, but I'll just turn on notifications. And if I'm on, you may catch me, okay? Bye-bye.